Shoido. Hello, you. And saying hello, you. What does that? That means something in English. It does not mean that in Lojban. Shoido really just says hello. And if it's sort of, the do is kind of empty there, because whoever you're talking to is do, and shoi addresses who you're talking to, so you can't really shoi someone other than do. That doesn't even make sense. Let's go to this one. I turned off the sound for me to Kafka. I had to cough. Kafka. I think for that kind of Kafka, where this game says Beth Kafka, the burp. I know that you can say Kafka for burp, but I didn't really learn Beth Kafka until this game taught me. This is great. This game teaches you lots of stuff. This is the Toknu ovens, and in this oven is Fagatabno charcoal, because Tabno means carbon, and Fog is from Fagri, fire. Wow, I got a bunch of these. This is great. I can totally make a bunch of Fagaterguhi. With Fagaterguhi means flame, light, but it means torch. These are the torches, the Fagaterguhi on the wall there. You can totally put a Fagaterguhi on a wooden wall and it doesn't catch on fire. That's nice. One nice relaxing thing about this universe. So these are my lanme, my many lanme. There's a hole in the ground here for some reason. My lanme can go. Are there lanme down in the hole? Sometimes there's lanme down in the hole. I don't know why I started that and didn't keep building it. I don't know. This is a vrogai, a door cover. Vrogai. This is the vorme, and this covers it, so it's a gashri, a cover. It's a vrogai door cover. Vrogai. Hey, wait. There's still a Vraja Serti. Vraja Serti means ladder, because Raj from Sraji straight and Serti stairs. A ladder is like a kind of stairs, but it's how come? Wait, the sheep were climbing up the other ladder. I don't know why there's no sheep climbing up this ladder. Anyway, I'm going to take it off just in case the sheep can climb this ladder. Raja Serti. That's a nice word for ladder. I like Lojban. Lojban's great. Raja Serti. What a pretty word for ladder. This is a sovda egg, which that's a perfectly nice word for egg. And sodva is also a perfectly nice word for soda. Kind of Slavic sounding or something. Sodva. But that's a cool word for soda. So those are both good words. They're kind of funny together. But that's what we had a robot make each word trying to make sense a word at a time. And it didn't really have an overall perspective. I'm just going to slowly explain Lojban to you, the whole history and whatever occurs to be. Right now I'm explaining to you how those words, the Gizmo list, I have it open here. Let's look at it. The Gizmo list is these things, these were made by a robot. A robot, put together various words for radio and came up with tradi, that's cool. These words sound awesome. I don't know why it added up to Shrida for fairy, but that's cool. Shrida is a little more general than fairy, I would say. Yeah, it has a list of things here. And I don't know, it doesn't really mean goblin or kobold. But it means like a pixie or a brownie, a fairy, an elf, and I mean I would say the archetypal Strida is Zbolrida, the Lojban fairy, the Lojban magical creature with wings who cares for us and makes sure. That's the main thing you should learn, really. I should have taught that first before everything, is that you should ask for an intervention from Zbolrida, and Zbolrida will very cutely and very helpfully come down and help you. But what I was saying is Kumfa room, kumfa. It's funny because these are like, is like most of the word room, right? From this robot's perspective, the in kumfa is like, I did a good job having the English word because that's most of the word room, the part. Everybody, right? This works for you, right, humans? I mean, it didn't think about it at all. It was a very simple algorithm. Anyway, they come out pretty. These words came out pretty. And I mean, we can make new words with new sounds now. You can make all kinds of sounds. There's a lot of sounds that are hardly used at all in the Fohivla space. But these ones were made by Tapi seasoning. Tapi. Does it feel like that has the sounds from seasoning in it? Or did it make Tapi from some Chinese together with some Russian? Anyway, it came out sounding super interesting. But it wasn't thinking about it wasn't like trying to put together the whole list and understanding what it was doing. Maxi magnet. Because it's got the it's got the M-A and I from how English is like magnet, right? I don't know. That's not, I don't know. Maxi. Anyway, I think they come out super pretty, but it wasn't like trying to make a list, and so it did funny things, like making both sovda, egg, and sodva, soda. Has there been actual confusion about that, where someone got egg instead of a soda? No. Everything is fine. And all there has been is klamburi puns. Klamburi zo sodva zo sovda. A pun between the similarity of sodva and sovda. Like, mostly the pun is to be like, egg soda. That's, I don't know. You want a better pun than that? Tell us if you come up with a better pun than that. Oh, look, there's some guzmerkukurbita pumpkins. I feel like someone is going to make a shorter word for pumpkin at some point. So I'm just going to enjoy that the word is guzmerkukurbita while it lasts. Guzmerkukurbita. I got some guzmerkukurbita here. Let's see. I don't have shears, do I? I don't have any shears right now, so I can't make one into a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, there's another softa. Here's the gypsy. The gypsies lay the softa. Show gypsy. Gypsy. Kojundimi. The gypsy will see me, follow me if I'm holding the tiju. Po mi bevri lo tiju, that I hold the seed. So I put it inside the po. So that's like making a, so like, alright, the old-fashioned way to do it is to put it inside of lo and nu, which is more complex. Oh, what's down there? It's more complex if we put it in a lo and a nu. Like, so nu takes a whole sentence and makes it into a verb. Like, nu mi bevri lo tiju. Event of me holding the seeds, but it makes a verb. It makes a verb that means that. And then also optionally there's a K at the end, which you might need a K at the end because it's a whole sentence inside of the new K. So you might it wants to eat things. If you put in more verbs, if you put in an extra verb, it'll break you out because you only get one verb per sentence, but you get as many nouns as you want per sentence. So if you keep saying nouns, wow, I'm collecting more chickens. If you keep saying nouns, inside of the new is gonna want to eat them. And po is the same way. Inside of po and ne, you get a whole sentence. Or there are experimental words kuhu and kuhau, and ne substitutes for kuhau, the Terminator, and po substitutes for huhu. But the thing is, it's not like everyone was saying huhu a bunch when we started. I was the only one who had ever tried saying huhu, and it drove me cuckoo saying huhu. It's fine if you say hoo-hoo once, but then sometimes in some sentences you have to be like go into an abstraction and then go up to another level of abstraction. And if you say, which is fine if you say po mi vevri lotsi ju shuse jalge po lo jip shishujersi shu, and then, you know, something about that whole story. You want to go up into levels of story, and so, and po takes you up a level into talking about a story that you're in. Then, but hoo-hoo, more than one hoo-hoo just didn't work for me. Hoo-hoo mi bevri no tsiju, I couldn't do it. So it's but technically it's a substitute for hoo-hoo, but what it's really a substitute for is saying lo and then nu. And you make a verb out of a sentence with nu. I mean, I feel like I'm explaining it to the gypsy. Okay, chickens. Okay, gypsy. Doi gypsy. Here's what you do. Do you want to learn to harshu? And the harshu is also auditing this class. So, here's what we do, gypsy. You put a whole sentence inside of nu k, and then, because it turns it into a verb, then you can nominalize it with the lo, or any other nominalizer. You can be like, rihoi nu mi bevri tsiju, and rihoi is a different article that's like the last one that we referred to that fits this description. You can, or whatever article you want, you can put it because you just got a verb. You made a verb out of a sentence, and now you can totally put an article on it. And they were like, what more do you need? You got everything now. You can make a sentence you can make take a sentence, make it into a verb, and then you can do stuff with that. Great. Which is, I mean, it's fine. That works great. But what I got annoyed with is then you have to, there's also suhu, which makes you not choose whether it's nu or ka or liho or whatever. Not liho, lihi. There's lihi, and there's also like zuho that nobody uses, and puhu that no one ever used. The thing is, chickens that I'm explaining this to, as we walk through this field of flowers, the thing is, chickens, that what happened was they were trying to be logical, so they took what logicians had made a bunch of stuff for English to analyze English grammar, and they had made a bunch of stuff like, well, English seems to have qualities and events, and they were like analyzing the underlying grammar of English, which has like qualities and events and various other stuff, processes and activities, and sometimes, you know, sometimes a process doesn't go like the thing is, English is sloppy, so there's all these different categories, and they sort of it's very complicated how the categories relate to each other. But because in English you can just say I see to say you understand or whatever, English is super flexible, right? Like, so it can be super flexible as far as if you've got all these complicated abstractions with really complicated logic connecting them, and if you understood it all, it would be really complicated. But you don't even get stuck in those weeds because it's English. So you're just like, I'm just speaking English. I'll just pop right out of those weeds, avoid this cave I would fall into, and whatever. We're fine. I'll just be sloppy as hell. All right. So English, you can totally get away with being English. English works fine. But then when they took all that stuff and tried to make it into a logling, then it sort of worked. And what happened was people started using it in a way that made sense and kind of worked, which was it eroded away a lot of the categories that they thought, like, oh, we should have the events, and we should have processes, and we should have, you know, but basically what happened was there was just all that anybody actually cared to use was the events, and then they used some qualities sometimes to like say what, but then any time where there was usually an event, if it made sense to put a quality, people wanted a quality, because the way nu works is you just have the sentence inside and that's it. You got a sentence inside. The way ka works is you put a sentence inside, and inside the sentence, inside the ka, you get to put a shehu, which is like the focus of the sentence. So from a lojbonic perspective, a ka just produces a sentence with a focus in it and turns that into a verb, and then that's called a quality. In that, like in English, that's there's a thing called a quality that's like that's useful for making things that are like English qualities. So we used it in some places that make sense in English, and then people started to be like, well, I would like a ka here too, right? All right, like for instance, let's take jisha, to desire, right? Like I jisha right now to find my way home, because I'm not sure exactly where we are, chickens, to tell you the truth. You're following me, you're jersey me, but I'm not sure exactly where home is. I'm just sort of wandering around, really, right? But I jisha to get home somehow. So then we can put the event, oh, thanks for the egg. We can put the event of me getting home, nu mi tsukulodzani, the event of me arriving at the house. And there isn't really a house at the home in this world, is there? But that home basey place, the lo sekhabju, let's say, lo nu mi tsuku lo sekhabju, the event of me arriving. Oh wait, no, I know what world I'm at. There is a, I know. Hey, where's my items disappeared? Oh look, it's me, Shoy. How do you get your items back if your items disappear? Do you know? Because my items disappeared. That's not how. So, anyway. Oh no. So, what was I saying, chickens? The chickens lost the plot of the... Okay, wait. I can tell I'm holding the seed now because the chickens are following me. Okay, so the thing is that, alright, I desire to find my house, or I desire to arrive at the house. Like, we would put an event there of me arriving at the house, and then say, I want that event. Alright, makes sense. But then some people were like, well, if there's pretty much always going to be a you're going to be in the thing that you desire to have it happen. So why don't we just, like, why don't we just have a quality for the said zisha, right? If the said zisha is a quality, then we can say, mi zisha loka shehu tsuku lo zdani. Like, I want... So, then wouldn't it make more sense? People were saying if the said jisha is a quality that the jisha wants to... Oh no, spider. Rukni shugunta bazi. Ikona gunta doi jukni. Do not attack, spider. Imitroshi poshtusha. I'm trying to teach. I had to switch into Lojban to explain to the spider, because the spider doesn't speak English. The spider only speaks Lojban, apparently. Okay, so is the spider scared off by all this light, or is it still coming after me? So if... Oh no, spider attack. Oh no. So, I guess... Chickens, you can't climb ladders, can you? Alright, we're gonna have to go around since the chickens can't climb the ladder. So that makes sense, right? People were like, well then I want, if that's how it works, then I wanna have a quality from my said jisha. I wanna be able to say, jisha lo ka klama lo zarchi. I want to have the quality of going to the market, and then, like, there's different ways you can grammatically, you can, like, hang out differently. Can you come in this way? Are you able to come up on the wall this way? So, yay! Oh, they can fall down. That's cool. So, so then people were like, okay, alright, what happened? People were like, I would like to have a quality as the said jisha, and then, you know, since it's Lojban, we don't want things to be marvelsmo. Velsmo meaning having two meanings. Velsmo means having two meanings, and marvelsmo makes it into a swear. So marvelsmo is like is like if having two meanings was a swear word, malrelsmo. Versus in English, stuff is totally zanrelsmo. It's zan makes it awesome, good kind of two meanings, zanrelsmo. But in Lojban, we don't like for stuff to be relsmo. We don't like for stuff to have two meanings. So it wasn't right for Gisha to be. Some people were using it as nu, and some people using it as ka. I split those off sometimes into Jishanu and Jishaka. But the thing about that is it didn't seem to cause any problem with anybody understanding anything. That's an interesting result. That you have to oh, we got some students. We got some students paying attention. You gotta that's an interesting result, isn't it? Chickens that I'm teaching. It's an interesting result how it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter whether it's a ka or a nu. And some of the speakers substituting a ka for a nu there didn't confuse anything. And it's not even like it was relsmu. It's more like it just didn't matter whether it's a ka or a nu, because those are just like words, and you either say ka or nu. And we were thinking, in saying ka or nu, could you be polite to my students, please? We were saying ka or nu is like it creates an event or a quality, blah de blah, but it doesn't really seem to me to do that. It just seems to me like it just makes you. Is there a zombie? No zombie attacks. I'm trying to teach the chickens about ka and nu. So the thing is, it seems to me like it really didn't matter whether it's a ka or a nu. It doesn't matter. Yeah, soft dramatic music. So that's when I realized, whatever, we could just, everything could just be, they could just have either a ka or a nu. Oh, thanks for the egg. And it doesn't, these students pay me in eggs. You should, I don't know what my human students do for me, but these chicken students are giving me eggs in exchange for my teaching. This seems like a good deal. So, does it matter whether things are events or qualities? What are the events and qualities? And if you start talking to people about what is an event, what is a quality, then people will say various ideas about what the events and qualities are. People do not actually have a very clear, coherent idea of what events and qualities are that they're clearly expressing by saying nu and ka. Instead, they're using it as a sort of, as a grammatic. Excuse me, Mr. Bachny. Excuse me. Why would you shove my student? Why would you shotke my student in such a totally unpolite manner? So, maybe you should want to follow me outside, and we can have a class wandering around outside. Okay, yeah. Come this way, students. Come this way, where the Bachny will not accost you. So, is there a difference between ka and nu, or is it what I call unicorn castles, which is not exactly an analogy. It's not exactly metaphorical, is it? I don't think it is. All right, we gotta get all the ducks. I mean, ducks, all the chickens, all the sheep gotta be out here so they can come to the class. All right, everybody, pay attention, students. Everybody, pay attention. Come over here. Okay, let's come have our class over here on the Grusi Lolgai, the gray rug, Grusi gray Lolgai, with these blanu korbi, not corners, korshna. Is that right? Korshna? Let's look it up. Korshna. So the Gismu list was just like suggestions. Yeah, Korshna. It's blue at the Korshna. This Gizmo list was just like some suggestions people made up, and they were made by a robot, which was fun. And they had already reassigned these Rafsi once, so they thought they could reassign them whenever they want. Was basically what they were thinking. They weren't thinking that we were like stuck with these Rafsi forever. So we probably shouldn't be, since they didn't even think that we've been acting like this is just like the rules of the universe. But when they assigned these Rafsi, they had recently changed the Rafsi. And they were like, we'll just keep changing until it's good. Which isn't a very realistic notion, because stuff gets stuck, you know, but we can, if this stuff doesn't make sense, we can reuse it differently. I've been using Goy to be like, I mean, I don't think we should have assigned keys to Pakistani, not because keys for Pakistani doesn't make sense, but because we can only assign like a few cultures, which isn't, I mean, I don't think we should try to be perfectly culturally neutral. It was what we were trying to be at first. I don't know about that, but I think we could be more Clunuhi than just having like short, easy forms for a few popular, cool countries, and then the rest. Jeh meaning Algerian. So what I do is put a goy after Jeh, and I also do it for like Mergoy American and Gligoy English, but that's just an idea. I don't know. That's just the ideas they had when they made these, and that's just an idea I had. Whatever. You can have your own ideas, too. But the point is, what I was going to say is they made, like, some suggestions here. Look, this one says Siho, and a lot of them say things that we never ended up actually using, because they were just guessing. This one says Duhu, right? But then, I mean, it makes sense that a Dotni would be a Duhu, I guess. Duhu talks about a proposition. It just takes the thing inside of the Duhu and makes that a proposition, which is it's an idea from English mostly, but I mean, Loebschwan has inherited the idea of having a proposition. It's the thing a Duhu produces. Alright, what are unicorn castles? Alright, come with me on this gray rug where I will explain to you what a unicorn castle is. Okay, suppose that instead of we have the word plisa, that means apple, and we have the word shitka, that means eat. So you can say, mi shitka lo plisa, I eat an apple. But what if instead of the word shitka meaning, thanks for the egg, what if instead of shitka meaning I eat X, X1 eats X2, what if it means X1 eats whatever they eat in the unicorn, whatever the unicorns eat in Unicorn Castle X2. Well, now that you've got that's a weird word, huh? How are we going to use a weird word like that if Shitka meant X1 eats whatever they eat in a Unicorn Castle X2? Now you've got just like a weird, useless word, unless the word plisa means, if the meaning of the word plisa is if the word plisa means X1 is a unicorn castle in which the unicorns eat apples. Okay, now you're good, because you can put the two meanings together. You say, mi shitka lo plisa, and now you're saying a perfectly sensible sentence. I eat whatever they eat in the unicorn castle, which is a unicorn castle where the unicorns eat apples. So it's fine, and it all cancels out. The unicorn castles cancel out in the wash, and you just have, instead of any sort of unicorning going on, you just have yourself eating an apple, like through the device of an imaginary unicorn castle, right? Which goes along, you go along fine, and nothing happens, and it doesn't matter until every once in a while, someone will say to you, "What do you mean?" Like you'll say, I ate 37 apples. Mi shitka, she's the plisa. And they'll say, what? How can that many apples fit in the unicorn castle? And you say, what do you mean? I was imagining a really big unicorn castle, like a giant castle. Your castle is only big enough that it would like the 37th apple, it wouldn't fit anymore? Is it for tiny little unicorns? And suddenly the unicorn castle will intervene, and you'll realize what it means to someone that something's an event or a quality. It doesn't even, a quality could be various things, really. There's various specific abstract ideas that you could describe as qualities, and it's not clear which one Ka makes, and it doesn't matter because it's unicorn castles. Ka just produces something that some of the verbs like to eat it. Okay, so there's there are technically two different things, chickens, that I'm explaining this to. There are different things called Zbonuka versus Zbopone. Okay? Allow me to explain to you. Zbopone just means saying po in place of huhu, which means you can just say where you would have said lo suhu usually, like minelshil lo suhu shitka, I like the whatever kind of abstraction where I eat, then you can just put the po in place of the lo suhu. Minelshil po shitka, I like to eat. So, but Zbopone does not necessarily imply Zbonuka. Zbonuka is if you're like, I don't care. I don't care whether Sedzisha is a nu or a ka, right? If you don't care, and if you, like, in Zbonuka, you can put either one. You can say, Mi jisha loka shashitka, I want the quality of eating, and then, or you can say, Mi jisha lo nu shitka. And that's fine, because it doesn't matter whether you put nu or ka from the perspective of Zbonuka, right? Zbonuka says, all right, never mind, this quality, we had all this quality and event stuff, who cares, right? Toss it. Just toss it out. But Zbopone doesn't necessarily say that. You can be speaking in Zbopone and say po and mean either a quality or an event. Like if you think that jisha, that the x2 of jisha is an event, you can say mi jisha poshitka, and you can mean I want an event of eating. Or you can say, if you think it's a quality, you can say mi jisha po shitka and mean mi jishro kasha hushitka. But the thing is, the way that Zbopone is so close to Zbonuka is you can't tell. You can't tell because it doesn't matter. Nothing. The unicorn castles never come up. You never notice whether someone speaking Zbopone means to be thinking of events or qualities. They might be thinking of events or qualities, but there's no way to tell because all they say is like they just if you just say po, you can't even tell which one you were wishing it meant, right? But or which fantasy of something, you know. We're just pretending that there are events and qualities, and then it means something, but it doesn't. Which is, I mean, that's interesting, but I don't. But apparently not everyone agrees with me that that's the case. Not that they can articulate what exactly... See, the problem is, they're like, no, that's not the case, and then they start to explain about their unicorn castles. And then other people are like, no, I have different unicorn castles than that. So, I give up. I give up on explaining to those chickens. I give up on explaining to you, and I'm just going to relax here by my wheat field on my pretty rug. And just not worry about it, because it's fine. It's fine, actually. I mean, that was kind of the point. That was the point of Lojban, was to discover stuff like how I discovered unicorn castles. It's just sort of disturbing when it actually happens, because you're like, hey, why are you discovering stuff about my language? I was just going along trying to talk. Okay, now do you understand how to speak Lojban and the whole history of Lojban and everything? Hope so. Well wishes to you. Be high.